Okay. So we saw till industrial psychology or organizational psychology. Next one is educational psychology. Yes. Educational psychology, as the name suggests, it is the psychology that is, it plays around the educational field. Let's see what it is. It studies how people of all ages learn. It helps to develop instructional methods and materials used to train people in both educational and work settings. So, educational psychology, the main emphasis or the main focus is on learning. Learning means it is not only for the younger students or the children in school or colleges, it is for people of all ages. So, how people learn, that is what educational psychology deals with. It helps to develop instructional methods and materials used to train people in both educational and work settings. So, in work settings also, we have to learn new methods and strategies, right? For a particular, suppose if it is an IT field, they have to learn a new program. They have to learn new skills to do a certain project. So, there also learning takes place. Wherever learning takes place, how to improve their learning, how to use certain methods in order to improve their learning skills, how to grasp information easily. So there are certain materials used to teach or certain materials used to learn. Those materials are designed by educational psychologists, and these learning methods and learning strategies are introduced to people of all ages, mainly by educational psychologists. Also, it is also concerned with research on issues of relevance for education, counseling, and learning problems. The topics of research in this field, education psychology, mainly focus on learning, but they also conduct researches based on what? Based on the relevance for education. Why is education important in a particular society? The counseling provided for means based on learning problems, then the learning problems that each individual may have at all ages, all these are also dealt with in educational psychology. Now, school psychology is a related field that focuses on designing programs that promote intellectual, social, emotional development of children, including those with special needs. So, educational psychology is for people of all ages, while school psychology is for school-going students. Their problems, how their intellectual capacities, how their emotional capabilities, how their social skills are developed, how can they be trained in them, how can they be taught new skills. All of these are dealt with by the school psychologist. So basic difference between education and school psychology is educational psychology deals with the people's learning regarding people of all ages, while school psychology, it happens in a school setting where the main focus is for the children's intellectual, social, emotional development and subsequent learning. See the picture here? Here the psychologist tries to use different materials to make the children learn. Okay. And these materials, they try with a particular material, then they try its effectiveness. They write down how much it is effective for a particular child or for a particular group of children, and then what they try is they try to modify these materials, they try to design new materials, and they might change certain materials into some other form so that the children can easily gain information, acquire information from those study materials. That is all about educational psychology. Now the last branch that we are going to study is sports psychology. Note that sports psychology. This is relatively a very new field compared to the other branches. In sports psychology, this branch applies psychological principles to improve sports performance by enhancing their motivation. What is motivation? The drive or the force in us that leads us to certain goal. That is motivation. So, sports psychology, what it mainly deals with, as the name suggests, it is it happens in the field of sports. Any athlete or any sports person, they need to have certain motivation to reach their goals in whichever sport it may be. In order to support them in terms of any failures in sports, maybe their emotional stability may not be proper in certain situations, maybe they get over aggressive. All these factors are collaborated and dealt with by the sports psychologist. So they may also train the coach, the sports coach, as well as the sports persons, the athletes. Okay. Now, they help athletes to rehabilitate after injury, deal with anxiety, improve athletic performance, and achieve their goals. Okay. Here, there in sports, whichever sport it may be, injury is quite common, right? After the injury, sometimes some of the individuals might be very low. They might not feel the urge to play again or engage in the same sport again. So such motivations are given by the sports psychologist. Then they might have anxiety whether they will win the sport, whether they'll manage to achieve it. Such doubts and such anxieties will be there. So it has to be dealt with. Then improve athletic performance and achieve their goals. So in overall performance of the athlete and helping them achieve the goal is the main role of sports psychologist. It is a relatively new field, but it is gaining acceptance worldwide. That's what I said right now. Okay. So that's about the branches of psychology. Now, there is a few names given here regarding military psychology, forensic psychology, rural psychology. You just have to mention the names. You don't have to study it deeply. The ones which you have to study deeply or in depth, we have discussed in class. Which are they? Starting from cognitive psychology. Who can tell? Amal, can you help me? Amal Raj. Which was the first one we studied? The first one was?
Ma'am, cognitive psychology.
Cognitive psychology. Then?
Social
Okay. Social psychology.
cross culture culture psychology,
Okay.
environment psychology,
Yes.
health psychology,
Yes.
clinical and counseling psychology,
Yes.
industrial or
Organizational
organized
psychology. Yes. And right now we learned educational and
sports psychology.
sports psychology. Okay. You missed biological psychology and development psychology. That's all right. Do you have any doubts in branches of psychology? Anybody? In these branches? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, yes. Ask me.
Ma'am, education psychology, I will coming late. Can you just say a bit about it?
Yes, yes, sure. Educational psychology. Yes. So, educational psychology, as the name suggests, it comes in the educational settings. It focuses on the learning process. Okay, how people of all ages learn. That is the main focus of educational psychology. And we also discuss school psychology. School psychology is specific to the school settings. How the intellectual, emotional, and social development of school students or children takes place and how it is manifested in their behaviors. That is what school psychology. Power failure again. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Raina, yes, we were talking about educational psychology and school psychology. So, educational psychology as a whole deals with how people learn in general, that is for all ages of the individuals. But school psychology is specific to the learning process, to the intellectual, social, and emotional development of the school going students or the individuals of that age. Okay, did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay. And we also discussed about this. They also in this field, we conduct researches mainly based on educational psychology, right? And it deals with topics like how education is relevant in a particular society, how counseling can be done in order to improve or in order to modify certain education strategies, then how the learning problems influence the overall learning or academic performance of people, all that is dealt with in educational psychology. Okay, Rena?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Now we'll skip some of the topics in the textbook and we'll deal with that in next class. In page number 18 of your textbook, we have a topic called psychologists at work. This is, I don't have to explain much because it is closely related to what we learned today, that is branches of psychology. The first one is clinical psychologist. Psychologist at work, as the name suggests, it is basically in what all settings the psychologist works. And you have around, yes, 5 of them to study. The first one is clinical psychologists. As I told you, they provide help and therapy for various mental disorders, fear, stresses, anxiety at home as well as workplace. They work as private practitioners or at hospitals, mental institutions, or with social agencies. They also conduct interviews and administer psychological tests, diagnose the disorders, use psychological methods for treatment and rehabilitation. So the work of a clinical psychologist goes like this. When a new client comes to us, we take down their personal details, their socio-demographic details. That includes their name, their social their income, their gender, their overall appearance. Then we take the full case history. There is a particular performer or the format for that case history. We also take something known as mental status examination, which is taken at that particular moment. The information are collected at that particular moment, not about the past or future or anything, but case history also contains past information about that individual. Now, we conduct interview. Interview means not the regular interviews that we see, but it is done in a scientific manner to understand the problem, to understand why the person has come to you. You also interview the bystander if the bystander is with the client, and then you, if necessary, you administer certain psychological tests, and you'll have to score it. You'll have to find the results of these tests, and then based on all these testing, that is based on the case history, based on mental status examination, based on the psychological test that we administer, based on all these things, and sometimes the referral from some other department. Power failure again, I'm sorry. Does anybody have your textbook with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Aishwarya, can you read that topic, counseling psychologist, from page 18, that paragraph?
1 second.
Yes. It's not loading.
Ma'am, page number?
Page number 18 of your textbook.
Psychologist at work.
Yes, that paragraph where we have counseling psychologist, the second one.
Okay, ma'am. Counseling psychologists work with persons who suffer from motivational and emotional problems. The
Yes.
problems of their clients are less serious than those of the clinical psychologist.
Okay. Thank you, Aishwarya. Yes. So we were discussing about clinical psychologists. Can you see the screen, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So clinical psychologist, as we discussed in clinical psychology, it is exactly the same. So we were talking about the psychological testing. We got the results, and then what we do? Based on all this information, we diagnose the disorder. Diagnose means we identify the disorder, we give it a name. We have certain criteria to look into to decide which disorder it is. You learn that in clinical or abnormal, when we study about clinical or abnormal psychology, there is two set of criteria that we mainly follow, and based on that, we get a name for the disorder. We get a name and code for the disorder. Then we diagnose the disorder. Then what we do? When we know that this is the disorder, we provide the treatment. We psychologists provide treatment in the form of various therapies. While if it is necessary that they need to have medications, we'll refer to a psychiatrist as well. And then if they can't be managed at their homes, they can be rehabilitated. That is, they can be taken. Intake will be there to the mental hospitals or any other rehabilitation centers. Okay, that is what clinical psychologists do. And they can work as private practitioner. That is, they can set up their own clinics, or they can work at hospitals, mental institutions. That is, general hospitals are there, right? They have psychology or psychiatry department. They can work, clinical psychologists can work there, or they can work in mental institutions as such, or with any other social agencies. There are agencies that stand for a cause, like to support a certain group of people, like rape victims, transgenders. There are certain agencies like that. So clinical psychologists can also work for them or with them. Okay, that is all about clinical psychologists. Then I should have read about counseling psychologists. When we learned about the branch of clinical and counseling psychology, I told that clinical psychology deals with the most serious problems, or like psychological or mental disorders as such. But in counseling psychology, they deal with less serious problems, that is day-to-day life problems. And they work with people who suffer from motivational and emotional problems. So some might be lacking a push. They need a push from somebody, so they need a counseling. So they come to a counseling psychologist. Even clinical psychologists can provide counseling. There is nothing that only a person with the designation of counseling psychology can only give counseling. No, there is nothing like that. Clinical psychologists also provides counseling. Now, they deal with less serious problems than that of clinical psychologists, which we already said. Now, they are also involved in vocational rehabilitation programs, helping in making professional choices, dealing with adjustment problems, etc. We have seen children after +2 maybe, or maybe after 10th, they are confused about what choice to make. So they come to a counseling psychologist or maybe a clinical psychologist. Both of them can help. They might do some aptitude test or so, and they can find the interest in various careers. Vocational rehabilitation programs, they are for, I told about the rehabilitation process that we involve in. So vocational rehabilitation programs are based on different vocations, different interests, or maybe like occupation therapy and all. They are taught different vocational courses, and then through that we can rehabilitate these clients. Then dealing with adjustment problems. There are different situations where we find it difficult to adjust, like marriage. Before marriage, the woman has to go and live in a new house with new people. So there'll be an adjustment problem there. That is dealt with in counseling psychology by a counseling psychologist. So she has to come for a counseling, and then a few sessions would do. Then what, moving to a new hostel, moving to a new place, or taking up a new job, all these paves way for some or the other adjustment problems in some people. So they come to a counseling psychologist for assistance. Now, they may work for public agencies such as mental health centers, hospitals, schools, colleges, and universities. So, just like we discussed about clinical psychologists, here also it is almost the same, except the schools and colleges and universities. So, we have a school counselor or a college counselor, and we also have counselors at universities too. So, these are the working settings of a counseling psychologist. Now we have a community psychologist. Again, as the name suggests, it is the person who works in a community. Focus on problems related to community mental health. They work for mental health agencies, private organizations, and state governments. In rural areas, they may work to establish a mental health center. In urban areas, they may design a drug rehabilitation program. These two are just examples. Okay, it's not necessary that in rural areas, these community psychologists just work to establish a mental health center, but they also do that. That is what is given here. In urban areas, they may design a drug rehabilitation program. Means there are people who are excessively addicted to drugs. So what is done with them is they are taken to some other environment, some other setting. They are rehabilitated. They are taken away from their own habitat and replaced into another habitat where the de-addiction process is going on. Such programs are initiated by community psychologists. Okay, they work with special populations like elderly, physically, mentally challenged people, and so on. So, if we have to conduct a camp in a rural area, or maybe camp in a city, urban area also, we'll call this community psychologist. So he or she might be aware of the settings in the community. He or she might be in contact with the community. So he or she can give more information about the community, as well as can initiate a interaction between the outside people as well as the community. For the community works, the psychological processes or the mental health of the people in the community, a small community or a larger community, that is mainly dealt with by the community psychologist. Now we have school psychologists, which we already learned now. They work in educational systems and their roles vary depending on their levels of training. They administer tests. I told you that. For students, they administer tests. Then some interpret results. So some psychologists, they might be trained only to administer tests, that is conduct tests. But some others may be trained in interpreting the results. So when we conduct a test, we get a score, we get a result. We have to interpret them and we have to write a report based on that. So only some people have training in that interpretation of the result and discussion of the result. So only they can do that. Then they also formulate school policies, facilitate communication between parents, teachers, and administrators, give information about the academic progress of the students, etc. That's quite self-descriptive, right? They regarding the administration process of the school, they might give certain suggestions that this has to be done in order to improve their academic performance. This has to be done to improve their learning capabilities. So certain learning strategies may be suggested by school psychologists. Some school psychologists also work as school counselors. Okay, that is all about school psychologists. Next one is organizational psychologist, which is the same as the branch we dealt with. Deal with problems that executors and employees face. They provide consultancy services and organize skill training programs in order to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness. They also help in employee selection process. What do you mean by consultancy services? The people in the organization, they might also have certain psychological issues, like certain period of time they have stress, they have anxiety, they have to reach certain targets in their work settings. So that might make them more distressed or anxious, or maybe some of them might lack motivation in doing their work. So all these things are consulted by the organizational psychologists. They also give organization skills training. Skills training based on different sessions. They conduct skills training for the employees as well as the employers. And also when we discussed about the branch, I told about the productivity and increasing the profit. So how psychological methods can be applied to increase the productivity and profit of the company, that is also dealt with by the organizational psychologists. So that is all about this. Any doubts? Yes? You have any doubts? No. Okay, so what all did we learn? We learned the branches of psychology, and the second topic that we dealt with today was psychologists at work. Don't confuse both of them, okay? When I ask branches of psychology, you have to write the ones from cognitive psychology till sports psychology and mention a few of the names given as other emerging branches of psychology. I'll give that in the notes. And psychologists at work is based on what role psychologists play in different settings. Okay. And that is all about today's class. Now, did you understand the branches of psychology? Is it clear? Yes. Then let me ask something. I'll give you certain situations and you tell me which branch is mainly concerned with this particular topic. Okay? Let's see how much did you understand. Why people get more angry on hot summer days than a rainy day? Which branch would it be?
Environmental psychology.
Environmental psychology, correct. Then people under stress, okay? People under stress tend to eat food rich in high amount of calories. A group of people are under stress and they tend to eat food that is high in calories. Which branch would it be?
Psychology.
Yes, sorry, Grishma?
Health psychology.
Health psychology, correct. Then children who grow up in orphanages versus children who grow up in stable families. They're different stages of life. Which branch would it be?
Developmental psychology.
Developmental psychology, correct, Elvina. Then conducting a personality test to hire candidates in an organization. Which would be? Amal, you tell me. Amal?
Industrial organization psychology.
Industrial organizational psychology, correct answer. Then we have administering intelligence test to students in a school. Meghna, you have an answer. Tell me.
Psychology.
School psychology, or the branch that we learned is educational psychology. Okay. So I hope you have understood quite a bit. Yes, Ashish is still having some network issue. Anyways, so tomorrow is a holiday. Yes, enjoy your weekend then. Okay, we'll see Monday. And I'll give you a small assignment. Just take any branches from the ones that we learned, your favorite branch, and tell me why it is your favorite. Okay? You write it down, send me audio, whichever way you like. Is that okay? Send it before 5 p.m. Monday. Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay then. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.